So you want to do voiceovers on your videos. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why you should. For one, maybe the sound's not that great. You know, maybe you got a little bit of wind going on. Maybe you don't have a good microphone on your camera. Maybe it's just a better way to tell your story. Woo! I've been doing voiceovers for almost 2 years now, and I've learned a lot. So I'm gonna give you 5 tips on voiceovers. Let's do it. So the first tip I want to give you is which mic to use for doing voiceovers. And really, people think it's going to be something like this, or like this, or this, or even something like this. But really and truthfully, I just use the camera mic that I'm using right now on the camera. Whatever mic you're using to shoot your main project on, you want to keep that consistency. If I'm somewhere where I don't have this camera and I need to do a quick voiceover, I have my iPhone with this MV88 from Shure, and that actually does a really good job. But I think using your camera mic is the better way to keep it consistent. So tip number 2, I will say my favorite type of voiceovers are the ones where you didn't even realize it was a voiceover. And to accomplish this, all you do is when you're out on your shoot, you narrate part of it, and then make sure you capture some background noises from where you are, like record for 1 extra minute without talking, because it's super obvious when you go from your camera to a voiceover and it doesn't have that same ambience in the background. And then you're talking back to your camera and it still feels like part of the moment. So the next tip would be overdubbing. I've used this several times, and when you do it right, nobody even notices. By the way, I just did it just then. But why even have this as an option? Well, sometimes you had the right thing to say and the footage looked amazing, but maybe there was an error in the mic or it was windy, or maybe you're using your GoPro and the audio isn't that great compared to your regular camera mic audio. And so sometimes, and I've done this before, you overdub it. Try to listen to it as best you can of how you would have said it. Make sure you have the same distance from the camera, and then you gotta line that up really well, because if it doesn't look real, nobody's gonna believe that anything's real. So tip number 4 would be voice inflection. You really want this. What I'm doing right now, just talking to a camera with my hands. So for me, there's been times when I was in a hotel room or in another room where there's other people on the outside, and I was trying to be quiet, so I kind of did my voiceover just like really kind of like this. And you could just tell it was a voiceover. So make sure you have the proper voice inflection, read out your script, make sure it's not just you reading it, it's you actually talking to your audience in the camera right there. Anyways. So tip number 5 would be where to do your voiceover, because a lot of people think any room would be fine. You know, there's some people around, but I find the absolute best place to do a voiceover is in the car. So if you're using your camera mic to do a voiceover, listen to this. Going from outside into here, shut the door, and it sounds really, really good. But the best part about it is that you're away from everybody else, so you don't feel weird trying to talk and be yourself, be a little bit more charismatic. And you probably didn't know, but most of this voiceover from this video was done in this car with this camera. So the next tip would be overdubbing. I've used this several times. There we go. All right, one final bonus tip, and this is a callback to my last video, which was audio editing tips. And that is to check your levels and make sure that you're able to hear the voiceover over the music by just tweaking it a little bit. And make sure you wear headphones when you listen back to it and listen to the internal speakers. Do both, because you might be surprised to hear what your audience is hearing. Or not hearing. Well, that's it. That's it for the tip video. Okay, that's it for today's tip, but I hope you found this information helpful. And if you did, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out some other videos here. Yeah, lots going on.